is there a photo if this person does not exist?
Where are you?
That his parents weren't really his parents. And it was explained that Nathan's father stole a bunch of illegal files, and the people that were trying to get that back from him abducted Nathan. His new parents were hired by his biological father. And just before Nathan gets into his car, he gets a call from an unknown caller. It's his father.
Sorry, son.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Mia. So the story I'm about to tell you is like no typical story. I mean, are my stories typical? No. First and foremost, before we get started with today's video, is that I posted a little bit of this story on TikTok and it blew up. Like, I did not expect it to blow up so much, but here we are. Also, if you aren't from TikTok, you're in for a real treat because this story is very like creepy and very weird. Also, before I get into this, make sure you guys stay tuned until the end of the video because I have a little announcement. So last weekend I went to a market in LA with a couple of my friends. And at this market, you know, you can buy clothes, accessories, all different types of shoes, antique, anything vintage really. And plus food, of course. You always gotta have that food at the market. And you know your girl is always going for that food at the market. And I've only been to this market one other time, and then that one other time, I strictly just got food. I literally took 2 steps in, I ate, and I went skirt. Anyway, as we were getting ready to leave, this is when things started to get weird. So there's like a bunch of tents and stuff, and I was at one of the tents and they had a table full of, you know, like merchandise. And I saw this picture under a stack of stuff. Roll the TikTok. This is insane. I went to a market and found this mysterious photograph. I decided to pick it up and I noticed that there was a year, place, and a message on the back. I kind of just ended up taking it home and decided to do a little bit of research. Basically, my goal was to figure out who that boy was and why that information was written on the back. So I put the information into Google and I received some coordinates to a place that's 5 hours away from me. Then I took it to the next level and decided to scan the photo and reverse image search it on multiple websites. After searching, I found 0 results, meaning that this may have been a setup and the person may have never really existed. Now I know many of you guys are thinking, Mia, why would you pick a random photo up and do some research? And my response to y'all is this. Have y'all never been kids? Have y'all not ever wanted to play detective? Just a little bit, just once maybe? And you know, live out some creepy experience, strange experiences? Is it just me? It might just be me. Even though I was super interested in this photo, I was not about to drive 5 hours to this place that I had no idea existed. But besides that, I think the main creepy thing about this whole thing was the "don't return" on the back. And now thinking about it, it could have meant 2 things. 1, the owner was like, hey, like if this photo gets lost, don't worry about it, it's not that deep, you don't need to return it, we can make more copies if needed, like it's okay, it's cool if we lose this. The second thing was this is something super serious, and if this gets into the wrong hands, you can suffer serious consequences. I honestly had no idea, but I took the photo and I said YOLO. And again, a lot of people question, how is there a photo if this person does not exist? And this is where things got weird. So I went home, made that TikTok, let it sit. And then I called my friend to see if she could, you know, help me out with some research. She stayed at my apartment until about 2 a.m. and we figured out a really important update. We looked through a bunch, like a bunch of images under the Google search of the information on the back of the photo. And we found the boy on a missing kid's website. Now, at this point, I am super confused. Because first of all, the kid didn't exist, as what I thought. And so now all of a sudden he does? Like, why didn't that result show up when I looked it up the first time? Don't know, kind of creepy. During this realization moment of, you know, what's going on and what we just found out, I take a look at my friend and she's very confused. And it's like, she wants to tell me something, but doesn't know how to tell me, and she's just staring at the computer. And I was like, are you okay? And she was like, I actually know him. And I went, ooh, what do you mean? And so she told me it was a long story, but she was gonna give me the simplified version. And then she started to say that she kind of lost contact with him after he went through some traumatic events. And I was beyond shocked, shooketh. So then she began to tell me the story, which I'm about to tell you. The boy's name was Ethan, and he's apparently 18 years old. When she told me that, I I could not believe her. I was like, that boy in that photo is not 18. I mean, I've seen a lot of 18 baby-faced little boys, but that guy ain't 18. Is he? Is he 18? But then, get this. Apparently one day after Nathan came back from a therapy session, him and my friend were working on a school project and they came across this younger image of himself, which is the photo that you all have seen throughout the TikToks in this video. And they found this photo on a missing kid's website. Let me just rephrase this all now. Nathan is a kid. He's currently 18, but that photo was taken 3 years ago when he went so-called missing. So he went to get a DNA test to see what was going on. And he figured out that his parents weren't really his parents. He confronted his so-called mom and she happened to tell him the truth. Let's take a moment. Let's take a moment. If I was him, I would be so freaked out. I would feel lied to. Like, part of my life was a lie. So after he figured that out, some people came to his house claiming to be from the government. His parents already knew what was going on. His mom told him that if something were to ever happen, don't go home, go to the safe place. A few days pass and he gets a call from a guy that works from the government. They tell him to meet him at a baseball game and that they will tell them everything that he needs to know then and there. He goes to the game with my friend and they don't get any calls while they're there at the game. However, when the game is done, he gets a phone call from an unknown caller. And it was explained that Nathan's father stole a bunch of illegal files. And the people that were trying to get that back from him abducted Nathan in hopes that the father would return the files so he can have his son back, which didn't end up working, obviously. So they put Nathan into a coma, and after Nathan woke up, he was put into a foster home, and he was introduced to his new parents. Little did he know, his new parents were hired by his biological father. And just before Nathan gets into his car, he gets a call from an unknown caller. It's his father. He started apologizing for not being in his life and not being a good role model to him. And as this conversation continues, Nathan doesn't know that his father is watching from a distance. Nathan asks his dad to show himself, but his dad refused. He tells Nathan that he wants to protect him, and this is the best way to move on. His dad arranged some plans with some people so he can have a better life, you know, go off to college, get a decent job, and just live his life. And at the end of the conversation, he promises Nathan that he will never put him in danger ever again. So now, knowing this story, the information on the back of the photo makes a lot of sense now. The "don't return" on the back of the photo was simply for anyone trying to get Nathan back to his father because his father didn't want him coming to look for him because of his messy past. But he did provide a time and place that they were destined to meet 3 years later, and once they were done with the conversation, he looked at his phone and it was 4:59.
Well, when can I see you? Why don't you come out here and talk to me in person?
I'd like that, but it's not possible.
So here's a special announcement. I'm selecting a couple of you guys to give Amazon gift cards to because your guys' support has been crazy and I just want to show my appreciation for you guys. So if you haven't already, go follow me on Instagram. Make sure you guys send me a DM and tell me that you want to be entered in the Amazon gift card giveaway, and I'm just going to go through my DMs and pick a couple people and give back. If this goes well, I'll do more in the future, but let me know in the comments, and I hope you guys have a great day.